Across made a video that I thought was good here. And I have a lot of opinions on because it's about Destiny, and I've spent over 5,000 hours in that game. I know you could be asking, like, how can somebody do that? But I did, and I wanted to go over this. I watched a little bit, about half of it, so we'll go from there.
Whew. Fellas, we gotta
From the
talk,
beginning.
man. I am getting whiplash.
I
Like,
agree
in one
with
hand, I
almost
have many of you
everything
saying,
he's saying.
Cross, we need more grind. We need to be challenged. We need a reset. Yes, just last week, we did a video, and you guys were saying, hey, we need a reset within Destiny, which actually blew my mind. But I walked away from that conversation going, wow, the Destiny community, their appetite as gamers has evolved. These fellas are hungry, man. They want to grind. But then, this past week, Bungie stated that they were going to be raising the power cap next season in Revenant by 10 levels. And dude, the community lost it. You guys lost it. And I'm not just talking about the folks over here on Twitter or even Bungie forums. I'm talking about people within our own stream. Everybody was dropping L's in the chat. Everybody
in
was
that
upset
stream,
about
and
this.
I was like,
By the way,
why
this
is
the same
everybody...
individuals just a week ago that were...
And this is the thing that drives me crazy about the Destiny community, is that they are so wishy-washy. It's like, whatever comes out, it does not matter. They're just gonna be little bitches about it, and I just hate it. Just fucking hate the Destiny community sometimes. I love playing with my friends, and I love doing stuff in the game, but sometimes when it comes to some of the stuff that you have to do in this game with other people, it's fucking shitty. Like, you go and you do the fire team finder where you link up with a couple people, then they quit because you died halfway through it. One time. It's not like you were dying the whole time. You just died once. They need to come pick you up, and rather than doing that, they just fucking bail out. It's bullshit. Anyway.
We're saying, hey, the game has become too casual. We need a reset. We need to get rid of things like weapon crafting. So I think you can understand the position this puts me in. Not that I'm bringing feedback directly to Bungie, but if I was, hot damn it, fellas, you're making it tough. In one hand, you want to grind like your life depends on it. And in the other hand, you see 10 more power levels to grind for, and you spit on it. Keep in mind, at one point, we used to have to grind hundreds of levels for every expansion. Hell, for seasons, we would have...
That's right. We used to have to grind so much for every expansion. They took it out, and now they're like, hey guys, we're going to give you 10 levels to have to grind through. And everybody's like, oh my fucking god, fuck you, Bungie, fuck you. And it's like, fuck you. And it's like, what are we doing? Why are we so upset that they have to grind for 10 more levels when you used to do this all the fucking time? It's only been out of the game for like less than a year.
Have to grind for 50 power levels. This is 10 levels. Now listen, I will agree with certain things, like upgrade modules being annoying. I do think there needs to be something in place where eventually you can go up to your vault, inject 100 upgrade modules.
Hell, I want to take it a step further. We do not need the tower. The tower is fucking useless. I can go and play a battleground with somebody if I wanted to see their stuff. I can land on another area. You literally only go there to drop things off and pick things up and go to Raul. Put him in orbit. Put it in orbit. Like the vault. Give me a menu to go to all the different vendors in case I don't want to actually go to the fucking tower to do the same thing for the 100th time. Just let me buy the shit from fucking orbit and whatnot.
And boom, everything is now leveled up once you, of course, reach that pinnacle cap. The resource management in this game can be annoying. And don't even get...
Honestly, it's the resource management in the game that did drive me to playing stuff like WoW. It wasn't just, like, them having an expansion come out, like the War Within, made it easier. But, you know, doing all the stuff that you have to do for a daily basis in Destiny is a little mundane, and I can do it over and over, and I did it for 5,000 hours, so it's not like I can't do it, but it's just, yeah, I agree that the resource management does need to be toned down a bit.
Be started on the Glimmer Cap. I know it's been raised, and guess what? It needs to be raised again. So I understand it for those woes. But to me, 10 power levels over a 4-month season, which is what episodes are, they're 4 months. They're long. Fellas, that's hardly nothing. Yeah,
seasons are fucking long, and 10 levels is nothing. It's just they want to be able to just fucking hit the ground running because we're going to have contest mode for the dungeon when it comes out this next season.
Plus, we'll probably get that within the first week, if you even care about getting it within the first week. Something of which I don't really care about. I normally reach that pinnacle cap by week 2 or week 3 because it doesn't really matter to me to get it within the first week. There were so many people losing their mind for the power grind for final shape. But if you notice,
like, loot is way more important, and the fucking power level doesn't even adjust how much damage you do to people or anything.
You've had a lot of time here for that grind. And on top of that, even if you did reach the pinnacle cap, we've got contest mode for the dungeon coming next season. Meaning if you're already at the pinnacle cap now, 10 more levels is probably not going to help you. But Cross, be real. Isn't this just a way for Bungie to boost engagement metrics? Look, that was a tweet put out by my friend Kujay. He stated right here, going back to requiring power increases for seasons and episodes after the removal of such was so widely celebrated amongst the community is a huge slap in the face. At least be honest about why you're doing it. That is a naked attempt to boost player engagement metrics. He then followed up by saying, hey Bungie, since you're bringing back seasonal power increases, can we get an update on your progress to address pinnacle power slot imbalances? It's been 4.5 years. Now Jay does have...
That's a pretty good point. You know, because the way that you level up is your power gear, or the gear level, essentially, or light level of your gear. So, if you need a helmet, for example, to get that, to get the top level pinnacle gear, and you get fucking a class item again, you're kind of fucked until you get that. There needs to be RNG protection for, you know, your slots as far as that goes. There needs to be a lot more RNG protection in the game, period. Because I hate when I do fucking double Nightfall rewards and almost every single weapon I get is the same fucking roll.
Have a point about the slot imbalances, meaning if you have a situation where all you need is a helmet, things should be weighted as such where a helmet would drop. I thought Bungie did address this at some point. Perhaps them just acknowledging it was my way of thinking they addressed.
Yeah, they didn't address it. You have to play forever, and like that's probably the biggest way that they drive up engagement in fucking their game is not having RNG protection for sure.
Addressed it. RNG protection is important, and if you're in a situation where you're like, dude, I just need a helmet to reach that pinnacle cap, and you keep getting gloves, chest pieces, boots, class item, everything but a helmet, then obviously that's a problem. Now, Jay wasn't the only one. Paul Tassi even came out and said, yeah, no, thank you. We're all good here. Another player even saying, so this is what we call desperate for playtime. Increase a number grind. Lol. Now listen, fellas. I get it. This is the classic Bungie giveth and taketh away. But I gotta ask the question, fellas. At what point did we as the Destiny community become so goddamn casual? Hold up, fellas. Yeah. I'm gonna be elitist right now. 10 power levels? I got day 1 raiders out here saying they can't do 10 power levels. From dual Destiny getting shit on and saying, oh my God, it's too much to find one other person to run a mission one time, to folks pissing on themselves because they can't get a raid item to drop despite us having options in the game available to us to increase our RNG if you do those triumphs. The reality is, fellas, we are going back in the direction of...
Yeah, that... that is something I see a lot in the game, is like casual players will be playing and whatnot, and they complain that they're not getting the certain things and whatnot, but it's like, I think if you're a dedicated player, you should have something that looks like a dedicated player vault, right? Like, you should have items and stuff that are rare that other players can't get anymore because you've been playing the game for fucking ever. Right? Like, it doesn't make any sense for them to continuously draw back and make it more and more casual for people when the new player experience for the game is fucking bullshit. Like, if you want to draw more people into the game and keep them around longer, why not make it not $400 fucking dollars to get into the game? I don't know, that's just me.
D2 vanilla. Have you seen the amount of exotics you have in your inventory? It's insane. We are heading in that direction, if not already there, with Destiny being so casual. We have a checklist of things to do. Everybody gets on, they grind their little red borders, they get their deep side harmonizers from their battle pass, they get the weapon pattern, and then they get the weapon at the crafting, and now that's it. Now here's the thing. Some of you are gonna say, Cross, you're being toxic right now. You're a streamer, you get to play this game whenever you want. I should be able to keep up with you. And my reply to that is lick my ass. Les, who works...
Yeah. That's my point exactly. Like, just because he's a streamer, he should be the pinnacle of everything, right? Like, he's playing it for a fucking living. If you have a 9 to 5 job, you should not be able to put as much dedicated time. Now, I have an unhealthy obsession and will forget about everything else in my life and play Destiny if I wanted to. That's just me.
Works a 9 to 5 every day, who positively contributes to society. He's got a dog, he makes it to Maverick games, he's got a fiance, and they have date night every Friday or Saturday. Listen, Les is not supposed to be able to keep up with me. I'm just leveling with you fellas. You see, what Les experience should be is while he's on date night, he's rushing through his entree. He's telling his fiance, honey, we're gonna have to skip dessert. She gets frustrated on the way home and says, why? Why did our lovely evening get cut in half right now? And that's when he holds her hand and says, darling, I'm sorry. I had to make sacrifices this evening because Cross got that incandescent heel clip roll aberrant action, and he's having the time of his life. And right now, at this very moment, he's assembling a raid team to go far for that chaos reshaped nullify. And sweetheart, I could spend this moment with you right now, but just know if I did, in my heart, I would not want to be here. In my heart,
This is so many people's conversations, I feel like. Like, this is what probably, like, unsophisticated guys wish they could explain to their wives and girlfriends about Destiny 2 when they want to go and play it.
I would want to be grinding for thy loot. And the last thing I want to be is insincere to you. That right there, my friends, is called sacrifice. So what? Les ends up divorced 3 years from now because of Destiny. It happens, fellas. We all have to make our decisions. But instead, Les doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't skip dessert. He continues to stay out with his fiancée. They have a lovely evening. He continues to contribute positively to society. And when he logs into Destiny, well, he's pretty much identical to my character. And that's no bueno. 10 power levels, fellas.
Yeah, like, I'm playing through WoW for the first time in years, right? And I don't expect to have every mount in the game or anything like that, or good armor or anything, because I should grind for it. That's the point of the game. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we, like, why are people so upset that they have to play a video game? And, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's fucking insane how stupid some people are sometimes.
This is such a small thing in the grand scheme of potentially getting Destiny to where it should be. Yet folks are losing their mind. So I ask again, when did we as the Destiny community become so motherfucking casual? Dude, Destiny's becoming
True. That's why I needed another game, one that I don't know if WoW will keep me for 5,000 hours, but it's definitely hooked me for a couple hundred. Maybe old school RuneScape is next. I know I'm gonna start playing that soon. Like, I think Fridays I got it planned for some stuff. But either way, like, it's just one of those things that it's like, what are we fucking doing here, guys? Like, you have to play the video game in order to get stuff in the video game. You just don't get it. You just don't log into the fucking video game. Like, what if you played God of War and there was no fucking progression system to level up through it? It would just be a boring, monotonous pile of a game that was just a story at that point. Like, it's not what video games are. Like, I'm sorry. That's just, you need to get over your fucking self.
so routine now. People have like this mental checklist they do every week. They log in on Tuesday, they check the Eververse store, they do the weekly story. They don't grind for anything because they already got red borders for everything. They save up deep side harmonizers for getting any potential weapon boards that drop. They're maxed out on exotic Ingrams. Exotics literally are meaningless. They're so meaningless now that they shouldn't even be called exotics. What happened to the day where that guy in the opposing team would annihilate you and your entire squad? And you ask yourself, how did he do it? How does he have an overshield? How does he see me through walls? That's one-eye mask, bitch. That's how he did it. And guess what? He's gonna do it again and again. And you ask your friend, how? How do I get such an exotic? And they would reply, use code ASKROSS at gamersubs.com to increase your RNG. And even though the marketing of this is very important, and this is a small shout out to one of our sponsors, I'm not gonna lie to you fellas, it didn't help. Code ASKROSS didn't help. RNG was fickle. I bought the crystals. I went to a lady. I said, hey, oh tatted up, dreaded lady in the West, how shall I increase thy RNG? And dude, no lie, I walked away with 2 crystals, both of which were $40, which seemed extreme. But she said it would increase my RNG. Now I know you're probably thinking, that's crazy, Cross. Crystals, increasing your RNG without charging it with sunlight? How foolish of you. But no, really guys, we will go to great extent to get to
What the fuck is he talking about? These crystals and
A
whatnot.
point where something will drop for us in this game. And that's because we desire that thing. I bought a money tree. I held it every time we killed Atheon. Do you know how hard it is to do DPS with a money tree in your hand? And guess what? Vex Mythic class dropped. The point is I wanted that drop. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly
That's true.
desired anything
I'll
within
do
Destiny?
whatever
This
it
game
takes to
has
get that
lost
drop,
that
boys.
aspiration for greatness. It has given us this checklist of things to do. And I know Bungie says it's because we need to make the game more penetrable so that new players would find penetration. But the only thing getting
But how are you making the new player experience better? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense if you can't keep them within the first couple of hours to get past the point of into the end game. Then why make the end game casual?
getting penetrated around here is my gaming experience asshole. And not in a good way. When an exotic used to drop on the ground, I would jump for joy. When that palindrome dropped with rangefinder and quick draw, I knew the stars had aligned. And when you fuckers made me delete it, I wept. For weeks I wept, as it should be. This loot should be so coveted within Destiny. The power fantasy should be so envied that you, despite having a family and loved ones, you start looking for things to sacrifice because it's goddamn worth it. Families come and go, fellas, but what you earn in video games stay forever, unless it gets sunset, or in the worst case, shut down. But the point I'm trying to make is,
what the fuck?
I have not cared about anything in Destiny for a very long time. I've got this cheesy
True.
chore list bullshit that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I get you all have balanced lives, and I respect you for that.
True, man. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's much to do in the game anymore. Like, you just do your checklist and then you're out for the week, right?
But in order for Destiny to be successful, hell, in order for any game to be successful, the degenerates, dare I say, we, the degenerates, should be rewarded.
Look, he makes a good fucking point. You've got to do things for your veteran community, right? Like, you can't just cater to the game being casual because at a certain point, it's just not a game. It's just you hanging out with friends in a fucking Discord call. I'd rather have a game that actually challenged me a little bit, right? Like, that took it to the next level and allowed me to actually, earn something that was rewarding. But yeah, fucking Destiny is not that game sometimes, it feels like.